Hi everyone and welcome to this video. Today is part 2 of the 2018 convention series where I look back at my experiences from my first year of attending conventions. This video is going to focus on All Hell Breaks Loose 9. So for this video I'm going to be focusing on my experiences from the day in Melbourne last year, as well as some tips I've picked up from my research, because this is a convention that changes every year depending on the guests that attend. So the first thing to cover is what's different between All Hell Breaks Loose and something like Supernova, which is a multi-fandom convention. So the first thing I would say is the schedules are a little less hectic, so you're not going to have to choose between photographs and autographs or any other experiences, but we're going to get into how the day runs a little bit later. The second thing to note is that by cutting it down to everything that's only relevant to one fandom, the convention floor or the merchandise section becomes a lot smaller. There's still going to be some really cool things to look at and buy, but it's just not going to take you a half a day to look through. For the Melbourne section of All Hell Breaks Loose, the merchandise section was housed in the wide hallway that led into the photograph and autograph rooms, so you were at least in the same area, but the two sections, so the photographs and autographs and the merchandise, were upstairs, whereas the entry to the theatre was downstairs. But you're still given plenty of opportunities throughout the day to be able to go and have a look. Now, I made mention in the previous video how amazing it is to be surrounded by people who share the same interests. That is just so much more so when you're at a convention that is based around one single interest. You have something in common with absolutely everybody there. And just to clarify, I keep talking about the Melbourne day, so there was a Sydney day on the Saturday and a Melbourne day on the Sunday, with essentially the same schedule. Now, as for the venue, it was located in the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre in South Bank. From what I can see on their maps, we were located in what they call the convention section, which is located right beside the Pan Pacific Hotel. As opposed to just a wide open floor, this section boasts a theatre-style auditorium with tiered seating, so you never have to worry about someone overly obscuring your view of the stage, and I really actually enjoyed my seat a little bit further to the back. They were a little tiny, but it was still a fantastic atmosphere. And even if you are towards the back, there's a really large screen up behind the stage where they show exactly what their cameras are seeing. I found I didn't overly need them, but it's really handy if they're trying to show you something and you want to see the detail. As for your entry tickets, they go on sale quite a while before the convention date, but they don't get mailed out until about 2 weeks before. If they happen to not make it to you, all you need is your photo ID and the proof of purchase that you got emailed, and there will be someone at the convention you can take that information to and get your ticket reissued. To purchase your photograph and autograph tickets, there is a booth set up in the space outside the theatre, which is open all day. People were lining up in the morning and it was quite a long line because they were afraid to miss out if they waited. Some things will sell out, but I know people who were buying as the opportunities were running in the afternoon and were still getting tickets. And you may or may not have to do that, because I know some of the ticket opportunities that you can buy online include some of, if not all of, your autograph and photographs that are going to be available for that day. And one last note for your photograph and autograph tickets, make sure you put them somewhere really safe as soon as you buy them, because there's really not much anyone's going to be able to do to help you if you happen to lose them. So unless you have a ticket that includes a special event in the morning, the first thing everyone does is photographs. For this, everyone takes their seat in the theatre, and a team member for Hub comes onto the stage and tells everyone how it's going to work. From there, they start calling out front row to back row, guest by guest. Sometimes there'll be multiple guests at once, depending on how many photo sections they have set up in their room. So basically, all you have to do is listen for your row, and if it's someone that you have a photograph with. If you do, you head upstairs, you get it taken, you come back down to the theatre and wait for your next one. So to get everyone through all of their photos, it can be a rather lengthy process, but I really didn't mind, because they play episodes up on the big screen with surround sound, and I was getting to meet my seatmates, who it turned out I had a lot more in common with than I ever expected to. Once the photos were over, it was time for lunch. There was a small convention centre run cafe with a select menu, but you're also only a 2-minute walk from the DFO food court, which was just on the other side of the Pan Pacific Hotel. You also know from your schedule what time you need to be back, so that you can make the decision if you have time to make it somewhere else. For us, we went to the DFO food court. It was busy like you'd expect, but with that higher turnover, I had no problems eating out of the pre-made bain-maries, so like the Chinese. And then we took it back to the tables in the convention centre to get a little space. We found eating back at the convention centre really helpful, not just for the space or the slightly quieter environment so that we could actually have a conversation, but because you could see what was going on, and we knew when the panels were getting about ready to start so we could be organised and settle in the theatre again. So our first panel was Adam and David. And this sounds really strange, but I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. They ended up being my absolute favourite panel of the day. The only reason it did surprise me is because I'd not seen any interviews with them. And I didn't realise how fun they were, or how much they would bounce off each other. So when their panel was over, my little group of first-timers decided to go up to see if our photos were ready to be picked up yet. Nowhere does it really indicate how long is going to be between panels, and it turns out we missed 5 to 10 minutes of the Matt and Rich panel just because we had no idea. So I would say, unless you're busting to go to the toilet in between, plan to sit in the theatre for the entire duration of the panels. When all the panels are over, the autographs start. All of the guests will autograph at the same time in the same room. So instead of being called per guest per row, it is just per row. And if you have any autographs, you go up and you just get the ones that you need. Within reason, you can have anything signed. But if you didn't bring anything and you didn't buy anything, then each guest has a few promotional photos on their tables that you're able to choose one off to get signed instead. With the end of autographs, it's essentially the end of the day, though there may be an evening event that you've elected to buy a ticket for. And just a little side note regarding taking your own photos and videos, I'm pretty sure they have a no photo or video rule in the photograph and autograph rooms, and they only allow you to use your camera for the first couple of minutes for every panel. For the evening event of All Hell Breaks Loose 9, it was the sing-along, so karaoke. You were able to buy your tickets online ahead of time, or if there was any left, they were still for sale at the ticket booth. Tickets for the sing-along were not mailed out with tickets to the event. What you had to do, again, was bring your photo ID and your proof of purchase to someone at the door, and they had a list of people that were allowed in. Just a note to keep it easier for yourself while you're in the theatre for the day is make sure you bring a bag of some description. I took a really cute little duffel that matched my Winchester outfit, but when I had a sweaty bottle of water and I had a poster that I had also just purchased and was going to have signed, it became a little problematic and clumsy. I haven't figured out yet how I'm going to get around that, because sometimes the outfit wins out, but it's something to keep in mind. So to wrap this video up, I just want to say that I had an amazing time at All Hell Breaks Loose 9. And if you get a chance to attend an All Hell Breaks Loose convention or any other convention, I'm sure that you will, and I hope that you do have an amazing time. The biggest thing that has surprised me about attending these conventions is that I have come away feeling so lucky to have met the people that I do. And it's almost like the convention was the cherry on top. And if there's any tips that you have that I haven't included, I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. If you happen to be going to All Hell Breaks Loose 10, I will see you there, and please feel free to come over and say hi, because I love meeting new people in this fan family. If you've liked this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. I will see you next time. Thank you.